Welcome to another Cardano update. So our setup, our 1-2 setup that we had right here, unfortunately got invalidated after we got below the trend line right here. So we are no longer in an uptrend right now, which is to be expected because, as you know, Bitcoin dominance is still going up. And there is a chance that Bitcoin dominance stops this month. And if that happens, then of course Cardano is going to suffer against it. Now, as I said, we did get invalidated here in this 1-2 setup, but that's not the end of the world because you can theoretically still count this as a 1-2 setup as long as we stay above this low right here, which is at 30.2 cents. If we get below that low, it's going to be very likely that we are still in the second wave move down right here. And this is going to be very, very interesting to see what happens if we do get another low and we get below this low because of course, you could call this a 1-2 setup with a very large ABC structure, but you have to keep in mind that if we get below this low as well, that would invalidate the whole setup and we would get another low in the second wave move down. So it's interesting to think about what might happen. Of course, nobody knows what will happen, but judging by the fact that Bitcoin dominance always goes down in November, like I mentioned many times in my previous videos, maybe it's safe to assume that Cardano will get a pump in November, but I don't know what will happen until then. We could theoretically touch the trend line right here again. As you can see, this trend line also has 3 touch points, like the one that we had over here. And, we don't have to get another low in the second wave move down. We just have to get to the trend line and then we could bounce. I mean, I don't think we need another low. Now, if we do get another low, that's not going to be the end of the world, but he has to keep in mind that we have to stay above this low right here if we want to stay bullish. And if we want this 1-2 step up right here to still be valid. So yeah, as long as we stay above 22 cents, it does not really matter what we do over here. We just have to stay above that level and we'll see what happens once we get to the trend line. This is going to be very important because as you can see, when we got this low right here in August, we reacted to it. So maybe it's a sign that we will react to it again, but then again, nobody really knows. And if we do go to that level, and we do go to about 29 cents or so, then I will be able to consider that a second wave move down, like I said, and the third wave up here could still put us at about 52.7 cents, which is the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup, so nothing really changes until we get below this low and then this low. If we get below this low, then we might go to about 25 cents or so, maybe 24 cents, and then we could bounce. And of course, I mean, there's no reason to be bearish on Cardano because at the end of the day, it's still an altcoin that's doing pretty fine in my opinion. I mean, if you look at where Cardano was in the previous cycle, exactly at this point of time, it was right here and it was ranging from about 12 cents to about 8 cents. And it was still down quite a lot from the all-time high. I mean, the previous all-time high was at about $1.40 and here we were at about 10 cents or so on average. So Cardano was still down quite a lot, and as you can see in the previous cycle in November, Cardano went up quite a lot, and this also happened because Bitcoin dominance went down. Now I also want to look at what Cardano did in the previous few years in November, just to see if we can find some kind of pattern, because if you can remember, well, I already mentioned this, but Bitcoin dominance always goes down in November, so let's see if Cardano actually reacts to that every year or if it only reacts to it during the halving years. And for this, let's go on the wiki, I guess, and let's see. So we have 2017. This was when the coin was launched. So of course it went up, but then again it went up in December, then continued going up in December. So yeah, we cannot really judge this, but if we go on 2018, as you can see, 2018 was actually not a good month for Cardano and it went down quite a lot. I believe this is actually the bear market low. Yeah, this is the bear market low if you ignore the pandemic drop. So yeah, it was not going too well for Cardano at this time, but then it still went up in December, so it was fine at the end of the day. Now, if you look at what happened in 2019, Cardano went down again in November and then we bounced in December. So, there's something to think about there. Now, like I said, these are not halving years, so they are not really similar to the year that we are in right now, but still, it's interesting to look at what happened in the previous few years at least. And Then we have the 2020 halving, and as you can see, it was pretty much doing absolutely nothing in October and September and August, and then all of a sudden, like I said, we had a huge bounce in November, and we went up 100%, and then, during this time, when Bitcoin dominance was hitting new all-time highs in December, Cardano was just going sideways, so, and then after that, after Bitcoin dominance dropped, Cardano started doing this over here, so like I said, we need Bitcoin dominance to drop if we want to start going up anytime soon. And I'm still expecting it to drop, but I don't know if it will bounce back in December or not. It's really hard to say right now, to be honest. Now let's continue with 2021. Now this is very interesting because this was pretty much the end of the bull market, so of course Cardano went down. So yeah, you cannot really judge this because again, it's not a halving year, so we don't have that many years on this chart, and you have like 6 years, so I don't think that's enough to get an idea of what might happen this year. I mean, we don't have that much data. Now, if we look at what happened in 2022, as you can see in 2022, we also went down, but again, this was a bear market, so yeah. But if we look at what happened in 2023, we actually had a huge bounce after hitting this bear market low right here in June. So as you can see, we were doing absolutely nothing for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden we started bouncing, and we actually went up in 5 waves to form a first wave move to the upside. So I'm not saying that we will do the exact same thing again, but if you look here we also had a cross at the bull market support band, just like we did a couple of months ago. And we also did nothing for a few weeks before we actually had a bounce. And of course, the cross that we had over here, it was like 2 months ago already. So we are not copying what we did over here, but there's still time for Cardano to start bouncing. And if it does get another low in the second wave move down, it would not be the end of the world. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the weekly chart, it's still looking fine. Cardano is still in an uptrend, and honestly, there's no reason to be bearish on this coin right now. I mean, it's not like it's hitting new all-time lows or anything. As you can see, it's nowhere near this low. I mean, this is at like 2 cents, and also keep in mind that Cardano is still holding support levels if you look at it from this perspective. So Cardano in the previous bull market went up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup to form a first wave move to the upside. And right now we are still in the second wave move down, and this is an ABC structure of some kind. Now, of course, the ABC structure is most likely this, and it does not include the structure that we got over here. But if we somehow get another low, another bear market low, if Bitcoin goes down for some reason, then it is possible that this is just an ABC structure, and then we go in the third wave move to the upside. Now, I also want to look at the Bitcoin chart for a second, just because it's important to understand what's happening over there, because at the end of the day, Cardano is pretty much copying what Bitcoin is doing, although it's doing it a bit worse because, like I said, Bitcoin dominance keeps putting in higher highs. And also, before I do that, Bitcoin dominance went to about 59.7%, and you could say that the top is already in, but we did not really get any kind of correction, at least not yet, so, if we want to prove that the top is in, we kind of have to get below like 53% or so, and we have to get below the bull market support band as well. Now, if we look at the bull market support band, it looks like we're about to have a cross very, very soon, and the red line is about to go above the green line. And usually when that happens, we get a correction. So we'll see what happens with that. And like I said, the dominance will still go down in November. I mean, that's what we did in the previous years. And yeah, let's look at Bitcoin. So as you can see, Bitcoin is still in this second wave move down right here. I don't have it labeled, but this is the second wave of this 1-2 setup. And they still need a third wave. And I don't know if the second wave is already in. It does not really look like it, to be honest. This cannot really be counted as an ABC structure. I mean, it could be counted as one. Maybe it's a flat structure or something, but we don't have enough to confirm that the low is already in, so there's always the chance that we go to about 64k or so, and then we bounce in the third wave right here. Now, this will complete the third wave of this A-B structure, or this 1-2 setup, that we started in August, and it will also complete the C wave of this A-B structure of that third wave, so we should, in my opinion, still get to the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup, which is at $80,000. And then when we get the third wave, when we top, and then after we top here, we should get a fourth wave move down, and then a fifth wave move up should put us at about $100,000 by the end of a year. And I don't want to talk about the other annual wave count because it could be wrong. And at the end of the day, Bitcoin is still looking good, and it still has potential to go to about 200K in this cycle, in my opinion, at least based on what happened in the previous two cycles. So there's no reason to be scared right now. If you look at the Bitcoin RSI, it's not even overbought, and we're almost at a new all-time high. So things are looking fine. And in my opinion, you have to stop looking at the chart too much because, you know, we still do not have an election, and I believe the charts will start moving after the election, and that's in like 2 weeks. So yeah, I don't think we have to wait any longer than a few weeks, to be honest with you. I think Bitcoin will be at new all-time highs in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.